Welcome everybody to this webinar covering IP solutions for small to medium businesses by Bolide Technology. I am Stephen Jonathan Frias, and with me here is Kenneth Miguel, our sales manager. How are you doing, Ken?
I'm good, Stephen. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear. Also with me is Mike Lugo, technical support engineer. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Stephen. Thanks for asking.
Excellent. Well, like I said, we're going over IP solutions for small to medium businesses. At the end of the webinar, we'll be leave it open to any questions covering everything we just did, and also periodically through sections, we'll stop for some questions as well. So, Ken, I'll throw it to you.
Thank you, Stephen, and again, thank you guys for joining us today. So, in this webinar, we're going over several topics regarding small to medium business and how CCTV can impact and reduce some of the challenges and issues that owners have in running these businesses. So we're going to talk about challenges in security for the small to medium type business. We're going to go over challenges for the security dealers that are trying to sell to this small to medium business market, and how our newer technologies can help dealers overcome these challenges. And also, of course, we're going to go over our IP solutions that are geared toward this particular market, the small to medium business. In particular, it's our plug-and-play IP recording solutions, our iPack series IP cameras, our iPack 2.5 video management software, and of course, our many variations of our complete HD IP system kits. So let's start. So challenges for security and security for small to medium businesses. A big issue for small business is theft. This is crucial. A lot of these guys, cash flow is important, and any kind of theft could be, could be really bad for any type of business. Whether you're in retail, you're in an office, or maybe a restaurant type of business. So let's tackle these. You got shoplifting. Recent survey estimates the total retail losses of $44 billion every year, and 30 to 40% of this is due to shoplifting. Huge number. Another survey says an average shoplifting case for all type of retailers is about a $50 loss. Now, it may not seem like a large number, but you know what? It adds up to as much as $18 billion in retail losses every year. You also got cases of burglary. Businesses are much more tempting targets to thieves than homes. In fact, burglaries occur about every 10 seconds. And surprisingly, only 1 out of 10 cases result in an arrest. Fraud and embezzlement can also impact the bottom line. According to a 2012 report, fraud conducted by executives and owners can reach up to $563,000. Of all fraud cases, the average cost is $145,000, and in more than 20% of these cases, the damages top over $1 million. Huge number. Another big issue as far as theft, employee theft. According to a 2014 study, 64% of small businesses experience employee theft. And sadly, only 16% of it report to authorities. I mean, it could be for several reasons. And I think we have a solution that will overcome this type of issue. Now, let's talk about what products are being stolen. You got inventory, you have equipment, you have tools, production materials, and of course, cash from as low as $5 to as high as $2 million. Big loss for small business. And who are stealing? So studies show that employee theft is executed over time over 61% of the time. 20% of it are managers and executives, 20% are HR and purchasing, and 60% are general staff on duty and non-managers. And I think this is really where video surveillance, especially moving towards the future, IP video surveillance is crucial. You can easily prevent this type of theft by being able to monitor your employees on duty and having sufficient evidence in case they get caught. Now let's talk about challenges for the dealers and the small to medium business market. Of course, you've got cost of equipment. You have competition. A lot of companies sell the same, similar type of product, same type of service. You've got ease of installation. I mean, how easy is it for your team to be able to install the surveillance system? So we had our last webinar was about ROI. You know, faster you get your project finished, faster you can move on to the next one. You have user friendliness of product. It's a type of a product you're selling user friendly for your team and as well as the end user. And of course, going back to preventing theft is effectiveness of product. An effective video surveillance solution is enough of a deterrent and a great way to really have control of your small to medium business if you're the owner. So here at Bolide, we have a solution for these challenges, and they come in our plug and play IP HD camera lines, network video recorders, and recording softwares. So our goal is to make it easy for the dealers to work with the product, install the product, plug it in, it shows up, and you're on your way. As far as the end user, we want to develop products that does not have a steep learning curve for the end users. We want to make it simple, straightforward, not much maintenance needed. And we're going to go over every component of our plug-and-play IP surveillance solution that's geared toward the small to medium business. So let's start with the recorders, the NVRs. We have several NVR lines targeted towards different price points and system requirements. We're going to go over each one right now. So first, our NVR, BN NVR S4 series with PoE. This is our premium line NVR. It comes in a 4-channel, 8-channel model with built-in PoE, and also a 16-channel non-PoE model. Again, this is a true plug-and-play NVR solution that's perfect towards small to medium type businesses. Mike, tell me about the features of this NVR series.
Sure, Ken, and I'm going to show you how, going over some of the challenges we can go through them with ease of install. We talk about that. The PoE is exactly what it is. You plug and play, and you're ready to go. And the 8 and the 4-channel have the PoE. The 16-channel does not, but it is still plug and play. One cable. PoE powered the camera, and we're good to go. We talk about full HD 1080p. The 4-channel has a hot swappable bay. They all come with our central management software. Of course, our free app for the iOS and the Android.
Then we're going to go over the physical features of this NVR series. We're going to go over the app as well. So let's take a look at, this is our BN NVR S4 PoE, the 4-channel. You'll see here you got your 4 PoE ports. Again, this powers the cameras as well as transmit the data. You've got a audio output on this unit. You also have a VGA output on this unit. And of course your HDMI, which is what we recommend for you to view it in full HD. That's 1080p. Let's look at the front of this unit. Like Mike said, it's got 2 hard drive bays, up to 2 terabyte each bay, and they're hot swappable. Okay. Also, you've got your 2 USB ports in the front, one for your mouse and one for your USB thumb drive. Here is the 8-channel model. Back view. You got your 8-port PoE on the back. You have your alarm input and output. You want to integrate it with alarm device. You have RS-485 for PTZ control and communication. This unit also have an audio output. You have your VGA output. And of course, you have your HDMI output. Front, you still have your 2 USB ports and indicator lights for your hard drive and for the actual unit. Again, these NVR solutions are geared towards the plug-and-play, small to medium business. Very easy to use, simple interface. Let's look at another NVR series, our BN NVR M4 series with PoE. So with this NVR line, what we've done is we're able to give you a solution for full HD 1080p recording and real-time frames per second. And we're still able to give you the built-in PoE for a 4-channel system at about 30% less cost. Tell us about the features of this NVR, Mike.
Well, off the bat, you can tell it has a lot more sleek design. But other than that, you're getting everything you get with the S series. So get the 1080p recording. You don't have the hot swappable bay, but you still get the 4 terabytes, or up to 4 terabytes. Of course, the central management software. Like I said before, the free iOS and Android app, and alarm in and out. So this is also a very good NVR.
So a feature-packed NVR at a lower cost.
Exactly.
So let's look at the profile of this NVR. This is the back. You've got your communication ports again. You have your Ethernet port. You have your HDMI output. You have your VGA output. It's still got an audio input and output. And of course, your 4-port PoE. Like Mike said, this is a sleek, low-profile design. It's a really attractive unit. And here's the front. Again, simple, straightforward. You have your indicator lights. And of course, you have your USB ports. One is for your mouse and one for your USB thumb drive. So Mike, let's look at the interface of these NVRs. We said they're simple, user-friendly, straightforward. Let's do a little overview of the GUI.
Yeah, great. So we'll go back to ease of install. What powers our NVR is the plug-and-play technology. As you can see here, there's just 4 simple tabs: live video, playback, alarm search, and the quick setup. But we're going to focus a little bit on the quick setup to show you how easy it is. And you can see here in the quick setup, you have your cameras and everything's there. Your stream configuration, record configuration, IP address, motion, the name, status of the camera, and also with our quick search technology, if the camera is off the PoE in situations like the 16-channel, it finds the cameras on the network very fast, very easy.
So all you got to do is take a camera, use a data cable, plug it to one of the PoE ports in the NVR, and you'll see on the camera setup, it will detect the camera and allow you to choose a stream,
record,
and where to display the camera.
and it automatically gets its IP, so everything's done for you. hassle-free configuration. So here's the top half of the quick setup. And you can see here that it has hard drive, time, date, accounts for cameras, and the most important part, your network configuration. So that wraps up pretty much the quick setup part. And like I said earlier, we pride ourselves in the easy as 1, 2, 3, and that's just what the playback is. You click your camera, select your date, and hit play. You see the timeline along the bottom, and you're ready to go. It's that easy.
So you mentioned that we have a free app on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store for the NVRs. And what can you do with this app?
Well, you can do just about, it's like having a little NVR in your pocket. As you can see here, you can do real-time video playback. You can do remote playback. You can select your streams, and streams are very important. We'll talk about that a little later, but streams are very important when it comes to using your mobile broadband. And yeah, that's pretty much the beginning of the interface.
So you tell me I can do live view, and also I can do playback on my phone for any cameras that I have.
Yeah, straight to the phone.
That's a great feature. Also, if I'm out in the street, if I don't have Wi-Fi or my signal is bad, I can actually switch streams.
Yeah, to a lower
so
stream.
I'll still get a fluid video on my phone for any of my cameras.
Correct.
Once again, this NVR app, Bolide NVR app, is free.
Free.
And available on the App Store and Google Play Store. Let's look at the interface of this app.
So this is the live video and remote playback views. As you can see in the live video, you have digital zoom for the live view, microphone and speakers so you can hear and talk to your phone. You can take still shots, and you can also do small video clips straight to your phone. On the playback, you have, once again, still shots. You have the speaker capability, and you see the timeline across the top where you can adjust and just select the time you want to view.
At this point, I'd like to open up to any questions that you have so far. You can go ahead and type those in there. If not, then I'll allow Ken to continue on to the next section.
So we talked about our NVR solutions. This is really just one of the main components of our plug-and-play IP video surveillance system, geared more towards overcoming challenges in a small to medium business type market. Now moving on to the IP cameras. Okay, so we have two main lines. One is our iPac Meg, our premium line, and iPac Lite, which is our economy line. We're going to go over in detail the main specifications and features of each line and what type of benefit you get with using these with our NVR's solutions. So let's start with iPac Meg. So what we wanted to build with this line is all the premium components and parts and features that you'd want in your IP camera at a competitive price. It's got a whole lot of features. The specs are impressive. Got a 1/3 inch Sony Exmor megapixel sensor with a mechanical day and night IR cut filter. It's got a wider dynamic range compared to a typical IP camera. It's also integrated with a new Superflux IR LED setup with Smart IR. What is a Superflux? As you can see on that image of the dome camera, you have less IR LEDs and they're bigger. A benefit of this is that compared to using a dome camera that may have 24 or 36 LEDs, one of those small LEDs go out, it's going to ruin your nighttime image. With this type of setup, we're replacing those with fewer more powerful LEDs with newer technology that will last longer and will reduce the risk of IRs going out and ruining a nighttime view. Also, it's got a smart IR technology. Mike, let's go over what smart IR is.
Smart IR is great. Basically, what smart IR does is it allows the IR to adjust its lighting, so you don't get that whiteout image of something coming too close to the IR. It's able to adjust and give you the perfect picture.
So if I get closer to the camera, it will lower its intensity.
Correct.
And as I move back, it will increase the intensity of the LEDs. Of course, the IPAC MEG cameras coming encased in IP66 rated housings. Aside from the specs, there's a lot of great benefits to go with the IPAC MEG line. It's a full line solution, meaning whether you need a box camera, we have a box camera. We also have an armored dome, an armored bullet, a mini dome solution. We even have a full-size 22x and a 30x PTZ camera. We also have a D1 solution as well as a Pixum-powered wide dynamic IPAC line. And as far as resolution, we pretty much got everything covered from as low as D1 to 1.3 megapixel. Our best-selling 2 megapixel line, as well as a 5 megapixel line available. And again, we talked about plug and play. We talked about the NVRs. Now, these cameras are PoE enabled, and they work best with our Bolide NVRs. Once you plug them in, like we said earlier, the NVR automatically detects the camera and automatically configures it, automatically assigns an IP address for that particular camera. We talked about challenges for the security dealer. We're solving that right now. There's no need for you to set up networks. I believe that IP is a bit complicated because of, networking, but, for this type of market, we'll make it easy for you, right?
Right.
Another important feature is multi-stream. Mike, let's go over multi-stream.
So multi-stream, like I said, we'll talk about it a little later than we are. So it's very important for slower networks or for maybe your mobile broadband that don't have the bandwidth. The multi-stream allows you to run that stream at less bandwidth and give you a smoother stream than you would at the higher resolution.
So this is important. Let's say you have X amount of cameras and you see it's running a bit slow. You can actually switch from stream 1, maybe like an MPEG stream to a 264 stream, or even run a stream at a lower resolution just to make it run smoother.
Correct. Or if your broadband, which runs slower from a Wi-Fi connection, you need to lower the stream so you get a smoother picture. You can do that as well. So it helps in both situations.
These cameras also come with a built-in micro SD card slot, up to 64 gigabyte storage. This is for backup purposes, right?
Yeah, so for backup purposes, your network should go down or you lose connectivity with your network. You know that that camera is still going to be recording to that backup card, so you can be rest assured that you're going to have that video.
So you don't lose any evidence.
Nothing.
We're talking about burglaries. Even network goes down, camera's still recording.
Yeah.
Another great feature is our every camera has a BNC service port.
So a BNC service port, this is very important for installers in terms of troubleshooting or even configuration. You don't have to, you can just go straight to the camera, plug your CCTV tester right in, and you can see the image right on your tester.
There's no need for you to bring a big laptop on a ladder.
Yeah, bring the camera all the way down. You don't have to do that anymore.
Also, it's got two-way audio.
So yeah, two-way audio is very, very cool. So basically with this, you can set a microphone and a speaker on the camera. You could even, certain situations, have it take over an intercom system. So it's very cool.
They can use any external microphone and speaker, right?
Yeah.
Also, you got alarm input and alarm output.
Yeah, so alarm input and output allows to integrate any alarm triggering device. Maybe your alarm system or motion detection device. You can plug it right into the camera and it'll trigger or record off that.
And of course, IPAC MEG cameras are ONBIF compliant.
Yeah, ONBIF S 2.2. So anything with the compliant with that, we're good.
Run over the features. Let's go see a photo of the camera. So these are the outputs that we were talking about. This is a box camera. You'll see the alarm input and alarm output on there. You'll see your micro SD card slot. Also, it's got a DC output. So aside from your PoE, you can also use a 12-volt DC to power this camera. You got your, of course, RJ45 PoE-enabled output. You have an RS485 port. You've got your audio input and output. And like we mentioned, it's got a BNC output. Here's a photo of the IPAC MEG 2-megapixel bullet camera. So underneath the camera, you can open a few latches. One will contain the BNC service port, as you can see there. Also, you got your micro SD card slot. And just FYI, this shows the varifocal lens adjustment for the camera. So you open the latch on the bottom, and that's where you adjust your zoom and focus. So we talked about the IPAC MEG. We talked about our NVRs. Let's talk about our IPAC Lite. So with IPAC MEG, we wanted to include every feature that you can think of integrated into one unit and keep, the cost low. What we do with IPAC Lite is that we were able to retain, the basic but most important features that you want in your IP camera. And you're paying about 40% less compared to our competitors and the IPAC MEG cameras. So this camera line comes in a fixed bullet, varifocal dome, and varifocal bullet. Of course, they have a 2-megapixel image sensor. Will run full HD 1080p. And it's going to retain the BNC output. It's still got two-way audio. And of course, integrating with the NVRs, it's got the PoE and auto configuration with our Bolide PoE NVRs. So having the full line of cameras and the full line NVRs hitting different price points and features, we're able to really cover the entire small to business market for CCTV. That will solve challenges that the security dealer face, as well as the challenges that the end user will face.
At this point, I'd like to ask if there's any questions up to this point over any of the camera lines that we went over, or even the NVRs. Well, if not, I'll go ahead and throw it back to Ken to wrap up the webinar.
Okay, so what if we're in a situation where the project is, more than 16 cameras, 20, 30, 50 cameras, larger scale systems. We also have a solution for this type of application, and that is our IPAC 2.5 VMS and custom built servers. Something we can do here at Bolide is we can actually customize a server that will allow you to run any number of cameras that the project requires, and run the cameras at optimal resolution and optimal frames per second. Mike, let's talk about the servers.
Great. So one of the main things about our servers is the licenses for each camera are free. Other companies charge $100 a camera, sometimes $100 a year per camera. for the license. So that's very important. And this is just the base model of our servers. We want to ensure you that you're going to get the best quality hardware. So we use Intel i7, which is the best processor out there. 8 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte in the hard drive. We use Intel chipsets on the board. Rated HD video cards. Of course, we're running Windows 7 64 Pro. They all come standard with a DVD writer for backup, and they are all rack mountable. But the features are very important too. So the multi-monitor display, and when I say that, I mean you can have maybe live view on one, playback on another, EMAPs on another, and you're able to do 4 monitors at once. You can do up to 128 channels on remote view. Also with remote, you can do the playback, the backup, and remote desktop actually allows you to do remote configuration, so that's very important. It also supports multiple additional video analytics. It has OnGuard, software watchdog, very important. And of course, it's ONVIF S 2.2 compliant.
And like you said, Mike, the basic license for the cameras are free.
Correct.
And you have an option for analytics where you pay a license per camera, and you'll have features such as tripwire, loitering, number counting, and directions.
Correct.
So you have the best of both worlds. You just want to do your live view and playback. If they're free, and you want to add analytics, there's a license, but you get a lot of these great features included.
Well, Ken, it looks like we have a question here. It looks like from Karen. Does the auto configuration feature depend on the client's network? Do we need to know the speed of the client's network as well?
Yeah, so no, we don't. It does not depend on the network. You plug your cameras in, and you will get the auto configuration of the camera. So that's a feature that you're going to get no matter what, even if it's off network.
We have an interesting question from Aziz. Can I have access control with the NVR connected?
Access control. So you want maybe elaborate a little more on that question?
We'll get back to Aziz at the end of the presentation. So let's go back to our iPack 2.5 VMS. Here is the GUI interface. Like we mentioned, simple, straightforward, user-friendly. Let's go over the interface a little bit, Mike.
Sure. So you can see here we have our icons across the top, general settings where you'll find everything, schedule configuration, smart guard, start menu, and the playback system. And I'll go into each one of these in a little bit, but you can see it's very simple, very straightforward. And let me go into the general server settings. As you can see on the tabs across the top, all your configurations are in one place. Your general configuration where you can actually see, select what you want to start up with the server, hard drive options, status display, and your monitor display options. And we go on and see. So schedule configuration. Like I said earlier, we really pride ourselves in our easy as 1, 2, 3 setups. And just like our MVRs, the server is the same. The schedule config, you select your camera, you select the time and date, and then you have your timeline, 1, 2, 3. And playback as well. So you select your date, your camera, you hit play. As we get into playback, as I said earlier, we have playback system. Now the playback system comes with the optimized video player, which has editing tool in it. So it's a little different than most servers. You get something a little extra. You can do actual video editing from here, cut the size of the video down. You can do zoom, still shots, and of course your basic fast forward, play, rewind configurations.
And are there any questions regarding the VMS? Okay, I'll just throw back to Ken and wrap it up, and we'll answer the additional questions at the end.
So we talked about our NVRs, we talked about our iPack Neg line and iPack Lite camera lines. Let's talk about putting all these components together for small to medium type business applications. So an advantage that we have over our competition, really, if you look at other companies' IP camera kit lines, you're really stuck with a certain number of cameras. Some only have a 4-channel box kit out there, and you're stuck with the model of camera that you're getting. With Bolide, we want to put many variations that will fit for different types of applications and customer preferences. For example, we have a kit that includes 4 of the IPAC Lite fixed lens bullet cameras, along with the M series 4-channel NVR. You may also opt to upgrade to the S series NVR with the 2 hard drive bays. Also, if you want the mini dome, we also have the IPAC Meg mini dome variation kit. So 4 of these cameras, along with the M series NVR. We also package our IP cameras in an 8-channel kit. So you have an option. You can use our S series built-in PoE NVR with our IPAC Lite mini bullet cameras, or opt for the IPAC Meg BN5009 M2M mini dome cameras. So we have a lot of variations, different type of solutions for different applications. So in conclusion, I think we're able to tackle challenges in security for small to business market. Our solution are plug-and-play IP CCTV systems. We tackled challenges for security dealers in the small to medium business market. How do we tackle these challenges? By offering a product that's easy to install for them, easy to configure, that's competitive in price, and really one of the superior products out there in the market for IP. We went over all of our solutions, our plug-and-play NVR recording solutions, our IPAC series IP cameras, our IPAC 2.5 VMS for larger scale systems, and also we went over the complete IP system kits that we have to offer. And I hope this webinar helped tackle our topics. Now we will be handing over to Stephen.
Yeah, let's go ahead and widen this out and answer these, look at these questions more in depth. Looks like we have Aziz. If you can elaborate on your question, we'll get back to you. Next question, I have requests. When NVR, same thing, okay. Access control, hand-to-hand, like we have the door opens, we capture in cameras. Mike, could you elaborate on that, or?
I'm guessing that what you're trying to ask is that when one camera detects motion, the other one will start to capture. I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to ask, but if it is, yes, you do have that option.
Next question by Charles. Can you use 2 8-channel BNVRs PoE at once?
Sure. With the CMS software, you're able to see multiple channels using the CMS software, so that's an option you can have as well.
Or it looks like the next question is to do a 16-channel IP system. Mike, you want to? It sounds like asking Charles, but you can do a 16-channel system using a router because it's not PoE enabled, but you can also link 2 8 channels together via the VMS software as well. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can do that, or you can just have it hooked up to a separate PoE. Either one will work. Whatever is more of your need, cost effectiveness or the customers want.
Excellent. Any other questions? Thank you, Charles, for asking that question. Just give it another minute or two. Looks like Karen Bradley asks, we have had concerns about cameras using up the client's bandwidth. Is there a table or chart or something you use to know what to tell the client?
Sure. There is. You don't really have to worry about it because we have a multi-stream, so you can always lower the stream. It doesn't take much bandwidth at all. If they're using like a DSL connection, you can lower the stream to stream 2, and you shouldn't have any problems. Nowadays, there's so much bandwidth with internet service providers, we rarely really have that problem.
And we also have a calculator. We have a calculator on the website that will allow you to calculate the bandwidth that you're going to use, depending on what type of frames per second, resolution, and cameras that you're running. For Aziz, let us get back to you with that question. That's a great question. If you can use access control with the cameras.
Charles, looks like you had a question. How are you able to do license free? Mike, anything to elaborate that? That's just one of the special features that we offer to kind of separate us from the competition. I know that there's other people, like I said, Mike was saying, do annual fees and upgrades. Every time we have an upgrade or a firmware update, we push that down directly to you. Aziz was going to, how do you calculate HD required for number of cameras?
Yeah, like Ken said, we have a calculator that will help us determine how much hard drive space you'll need and bandwidth or processing power to help us with that. We do have a calculator.
We can actually email him. We'll email you the link.
Yeah.
To the calculator on our website.
Next question, what's the temperature range for outdoor application? From Steve, I live in Canada, and let's just say it gets very cold. Yes, we imagine so.
So the cameras themselves operate at 14 degrees.
Is it 14?
Yeah,
I know it's IP66.
That's the minimum.
Rating.
But at the same time, we've seen these cameras installed in very cold conditions. Actually, the camera being on actually heats itself up. But if you need a camera solution where you require a heater and blower, we can provide you with the box IP camera with a heater included in the housing.
And Ralph, you asked about license free in Canada. Yes, the software accommodates for that in all regions, so you're good there. Charles had another question about picture of box camera shows 12-volt output. What is this a type and is input? So, a type and input. Okay.
Yeah, so the 12 volt, you have the option of using the 12-volt adapter, DC adapter, or the PoE. So certain situations you might not need the PoE. You might want to go with just a DC adapter. You can do that as well. You have the option.
And that option really is set up for, there's certain power over Ethernet limitations. At some points you can power the camera locally using 12 volt and then run your data through Cat 5 or Cat 6. Next question by Karen. Can you please email me the link for the calculator too as well? Yes, we will. We got you taken care of, Karen.
Always said, yeah, output or input, yeah, it might be a typo. But you can, the point is you can power the camera with a 12-volt DC power supply.
Charles has another question. It was 12 this morning. Can only imagine.
And regarding the licenses, so how it works is that we actually give you a license for the cameras. If you have to build you a server, then we actually configure it for you before it ships out.
Pre-license, yeah.
And the last one by Charles, you said it was a output.
It was a typo.
Oh, yeah, typo. Yeah, that was a typo. That was a typo. Yeah, we're sorry about that, Charles. Any other questions? Aziz, what makes IP cameras different from analog cameras?
Good question. That's a good question. So basically, IP, you're going to get a lot better picture quality. A lot of the advantages of IP are some of the functions that we talked about that the cameras have. Things like micro SD card, the fact that you can see it through the network, independent. Basically, each IP camera is its own independent server, can be. So you can use the camera by itself.
The main thing is the resolution. I mean, you can't get 1080p with analog cameras.
Essentially on the basis, I always explain it that IP is a digital signal as opposed to analog is a direct signal. So because it's digital, you can do a lot more with it. You can use analytics and get better resolution. So that's really just to touch on what Ken said, that's really the main difference. So Charles asks, can I use an IP camera as a standalone?
Yes, you can. You can. That's another one of the benefits of having an IP. You can use it as a standalone.
And you can use the SD card as a main recording path, but you're limited to the capacity of your SD card. So it can work as a standalone type of solution, but you're limited to storage.
So, on to the next question, Joshua. I have 3 buildings, only one has DSL. Will I be able to set up cameras for remote access for all 3 buildings?
Yes, you will. Using, like I said earlier, using the CMS, you're able to bring all the cameras, all the NVRs to one central place. As long as there's a connection, it doesn't necessarily have to be an outside connection. As long as there's a connection to each other, you can do that.
Robert asks, how would you compare IP versus analog as to 1 megapixel?
So with analog, I think the highest resolution available is 960 by 480 pixels. Let's say 1.3 megapixel will give you 720p resolution. That's 1280 by 720 pixels on the screen. So it's a significant difference. A 720p IP camera is going to be 10 times better than your best analog resolution.
So next question from Aziz. The recording in the SD card, once full, will it automatically recycle, and how long will it record?
So that's going to depend on the resolution that you set it at. So it can vary. You can set it to auto recycle, but the most important thing is it's going to depend on the resolution you set the camera to.
So you can do both. You can have it stop when it's full, or you can opt for it to overwrite when it's full.
Okay, hope that answered your question. Next question by Charles. Why is there 4 connections for the RS 422? It means must be 480.
Yeah. So I think in the picture, I think it's split between the alarm in and out and the RS 485. So it looks like there's 4, but it's actually split between the 2.
Questions?
Any other questions or concerns, or do you need us to elaborate on any other? Here we go by Karen. Okay. Is there any pixelation on the direct zoom feature? Is this live view only for the direct zoom?
Okay, so if you're talking digital zoom, there is some pixelation, but if you're talking varifocal lens, no, there's not. So
that's where your megapixel number comes in. For applications where, let's say a parking lot where you want to do a wide angle of view and you want to do a lot of digital zoom, you would want to install a 5 megapixel camera for that location, because when you do your digital zoom, you have more pixel density, so it does not pixelate as much as you would, let's say, using a 1.3 megapixel. So you need to be familiar with where you're going to install the camera and what type of view you want. That way, we can choose between a 2 megapixel camera for that camera position or a 5 megapixel camera.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Karen. Next question, Mike. Does Bolide have any YouTube type instructions for customers using the software?
Yeah, we have many videos on our YouTube site. You can go and we have many instructions on hardware and software.
So go to youtube.com, search Bolide Technology Group North America. We actually have a channel that has several videos on instructions for cameras and software.
It looks like Aziz has another question. Can I have more than one video output option on the NVR?
You do. It's more of you plug it in or you don't. You will get the same video out of both outputs. So you do have the option, but it is the same video.
Okay. Charles asks, he meant RS-45, made up my own protocol 422.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Steve has a question.
Can these be used or integrated into a wireless application?
We do have a wireless camera, and yes, it is compatible with our wireless camera, the IQ.
And thank you for that, Charles. Thank you for asking the questions.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Questions?
So any more questions that we can ask or clarifications?
So I guess we'll wrap up. Again.
Oh, looks like we have one more. Thanks from Jeff Hopper. Thanks for the info, Stephen Crew. Great webinar. Thanks, Jeff.
And thank you, Bob. So we'll wrap up.
One last thing.
Warranty. Warranty. We offer, good question. We offer a 3-year warranty on all of our IP cameras, NVRs, servers. So we have 3-year warranty. And that also covers our analog camera lines and our DVR lines.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us.
Hopefully, we're able to clarify the challenges and tackle,